I hope it's being recorded right now.
Yes,
Okay?
now it is. Now
Yeah,
it is.
it's
Right. So
recorded.
we are starting the MC training, and you guys now mute yourself so that there is no disturbance. I didn't have much time, but I succeeded in creating a small PowerPoint. I thought if Anjali is present, she will decorate it and make it a much better PowerPoint later. It's very brief. As I was saying, that I would have trained about hundreds of Exceliers and other people in the Master of Ceremony, and it has become a trend. All people follow in all conventions, all meetings, all alumni, the same tradition of what I learned how to be a Master of Ceremony. And once you okay, so once you get into this, you will have an idea as to what is Master of Ceremony, what are the main roles that we have, and what are the strategies in order to be best effective, and what kind of character and attitude we should maintain. And all these I will discuss in a PowerPoint, so let me go right jump in. Let me share the screen.
Sorry.
This is nothing, this is just the starting point. And I didn't use any animation, so I'll go straight. Now, one voice MC has 4 primary roles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 primary roles. 1, tone of the morning and evening. If the program is in the morning, we call it tone of the morning. And if the program is in the evening, we call it tone of the evening. This is a very important element. I say this is 40% of this whole Master of Ceremony game. So if your tone is very good, then the whole forum goes on very well. The tone of the morning or evening should be 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But the whole meeting is for 2 hours. So if you perform this 10 minutes job or 5 minutes job very well, then your 2 hours will be taken care of. It said, well begun is half done. What happens when you give a very good tone of the morning? You get, are you noting down? You get what you call audience compliance. Very important word. Audience compliance. Just like a doctor, there are various kinds of patients in a doctor's chamber, but the patients who are complying in nature, who are faithful, obedient, and who trust the doctors, responds more in the therapy. Likewise, for a speaker is very clever. He wants audience compliance. If the audience are inclined to the speaker, they will always nod. All negativities will be wiped off, and they will travel with the master, with the speaker. So, well begun is half done. The way to get audience compliance is the tone of the morning. So prepare it thoroughly. Don't leave any chance. Prepare. Practice. One comment, there is a difference in the offline arena and online arena, which we must note very carefully. I will come and explain tone of the morning. Here, in the general 4 elements, tone of the morning, only one point I will mention. I will come back to this later in the next slide. One thing you remember that here in the online, we have 5 minutes tone of the morning. This time it will be morning, 12th of July, we'll have our second alumni. Sudhir Chopra happens to be the Master of Ceremony, who I'm training, and others are noting down so they can train the onward Master of Ceremonies on this basis. So online it is 5 minutes, offline it is 10 minutes. In our culture, in our tradition, in UXL, in Tough Track, in all alumni, all conventions, the tone of the morning, evening, afternoon is only 10 minutes. Offline. Online it is 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes if you Remember this. Second part of the role is time management. You are not anybody. You are a master. Focus on the word. Master of ceremony. Master of event. You are the total controller. You are the leader. It's a leadership role. The whole command is on you. The whole evening rotates around you. You are there until the end. So, time happens to be a very important element which you lead, which you manage. If it is a 2 hours program, it's a 2 hours program. You are responsible to manage the time, to manage the agenda. Third role is a connector role. By connector means very important. Every new event have to be introduced. Every new speaker has to be introduced. So you got to be ready with your introduction notes. How would you introduce the next speaker? How are you introducing the next event? And then acknowledgement. When the event gets over, you are a connector. You are linking to the next speaker. So you cannot afford to be cruel. You cannot afford to be apathetic to the speaker who has gone by. Feel grateful. It's the one voice. Feel one voice with the speaker. The speaker has come, done the job very well. He or she has helped you to perform the event very well. So express a very genuine gratitude, number one. And number two, acknowledge it. And then quickly, without, you have no time, maybe it's 30 seconds or 40 seconds, within that, you got to close the previous speaker and connect to the next speaker. That is the role, third role, connector. Each of them I will discuss separately. Fourth, enthusiasm is the name of the game. The whole event is vibrant. Whose duty is it? Who else except the master of ceremony? You are a cheerleader. All the time you got to have strategies. My group is not dying low. It's not going down. It is active. People are listening. Maximum number of people are listening. And your role is more crucial in online because you can't see them. You are remote control. Your energies, your physical energies, your aura goes out and reaches out to the audience in the offline. But you got to substitute that. A lot of research has been done. Just a little metaphor. As a trainer, a lot of people have reservations to online training. Naturally. I admit there's nothing like offline training. Nothing like face-to-face coaching. But what to do? The world has changed. So the psychologists, behavioral scientists, technologists have put their heads together and found new ways to create the same kind, almost same kind of impact on online as we can get in the offline. So first of all, eradicate all the doubts in your mind that we cannot create engagement, we cannot create involvement and commitment and audience compliance in the online. We can. There are strategies, and you should be very clever in employing those strategies to engage your audience. These are the 4 elements. All right. I will go back, stop here. A little question, a little feedback. What do you feel? Does it make sense? Master of ceremony, your feedback.
Yes, Ashit. Really, it makes sense. We must, you already taught me earlier to keep the audience engaged by asking questions or something like that. So I completely understand. We have to keep them engaged even if they are online.
Creative Cell, any question? Any feedback?
I think it's perfect.
Okay. So once again, let me go back to the screen share and go to the onward slides.
It has to be interestingly occupied. That's the thing.
Right. So here is the second slide. Now, first is tone of the morning. In this slide, I'm discussing one of the 4 roles. Remind yourself of the 4 roles that we have. Tone of the morning, evening. Second is what is the second?
Story.
Another
Time
question.
management.
Right. Unmute and mute. Practice it. That's why I'm asking. Okay. And the third one, unmute, mute.
Connector.
Connector.
Okay. And the fourth one.
Cheering and enthusiasm.
Absolutely right. So this I'm discussing the first, the tone of the morning. Now, like tone of the morning is the audience influencer or audience complier of the whole event. Attention getter happens to be the soul of the tone of the morning. Same way, well began is half done. If your attention getter is very powerful, boy, your tone of the morning will go gaga. Which means to say, your attention getter will be remembered. I cannot forget some attention getters which people have used. I cannot forget Tapsi Nangia. What a tremendous girl she was. My God, what drama she did. Terrific. So attention getter is very important. Now there is a difference in offline and online. I'm trying for both. Offline, you can use a drama or a life event. A drama, life event. Kapil San, one of the best master of ceremonies I've seen, Nikhil Abroad. Sometime get hold of it. He is not joined on voice, one voice. Superb speaker, Nikhil Abroad. And he created a wonderful life event, wonderful drama. Drama is something which people remember all their life. The people who have attended the graduation would certainly remember how the master of ceremony had started off the event with a drama. But in online, we do not have an opportunity to create a drama. So how to substitute it? Best is metaphor. Can you see the last one? What is a metaphor? Feedback. I'll go back. What is a metaphor? Make it participating. What do you understand by metaphor?
Metaphor is a compact saying. That's what we can say. Compact statement.
Okay. Example? Anybody else?
No.
Metaphor.
If I offhand.
Metaphor. Okay. Let me give you
A short story that gives.
It can be anything.
The meaning.
It can be anything.
Analogy.
It can be anything. Understand one thing. Metaphor means live picture. You are not showing anything, but you are creating a picture in order to convey your point. I always use this metaphor. I'm giving an example so that you understand how to use a metaphor. You ask me a question, all right, or I'm dealing with an issue. I'm talking about a challenge. Okay. Now let's talk about COVID. People are so worried. How to resolve this issue? I have a very simple solution. Think of two baskets. Think of two baskets. On one basket, you have the virus. On the other basket, we have an immunity. There is always a fight between the two. Sometimes the immunity wins, sometimes the virus wins. In COVID-19, the virus has won, immunity has lost. Now, if you create a situation when immunity is strong and virus is weak, boy, you are healthy. You are in the realm of wellness. How do you like this metaphor? It creates an impact in your life. You understand? So metaphor is the best.
Visualization captures your thought process.
Yeah, Operash, my trainer, always used to use the word, Ashit, use what picture, use what picture, use what picture. Note down, word picture. Every word is a picture. A good speaker knows how to picturize every word. And then he creates an impact. How I am speaking with you, how I am modulating my voice, how you are seeing my energy. Every word, when I say energy, I cannot say, How are you seeing my energy? It will not work out, man. How are you? I'm creating a what picture of energy? I say, I'm active. I'm alive. Some guys don't jump. Then I tell him, I trust you. You are not active. You get it? So offline you use drama, and online you use metaphor, anecdote, quote, story, anything. How to start. So you got to be ready. Another thing which I have not mentioned, I should have, but you must note down. Your metaphor, understood. Your metaphor, anecdote, quote, story should be relevant to the content you are about to present. You just for the heck of you got a nice metaphor and you started it, then it will go haywire, isn't it? It's just like that guy, who went to an American restaurant, and the guy came in, the waiter came in and said, "Sir," he was using an attention getter there. He was telling, "Sir, let me entertain you. Who is the father of your father and brother of your brother?" Fellow got so surprised. He was an Indian. He went to an American restaurant for the first time, and he was a smart waiter. He said, "Who is the father of your father and brother of your brother?" The fellow got perplexed. He said, "I knew you won't know the answer. The answer is me. Now place me your order. And the father of your father, brother of your brother." Now, fellow got so enthused. He came back to India, threw a party, and all people assembled. And he said, "Hey, let me start. Before you start dining, answer my question. Who is the father of your father and brother of your brother?" People got perplexed. And he said, "You don't know?" And he said, "That waiter in America." It is so funny. You see, it's not relevant. You got to make it relevant to the context. Then your tone of the morning, and the first part attention getter, second part you have the story. Story is the whole thing. Suppose it's a 5 minutes event, your attention getter is 1 minute, and then 4 minutes is the whole story. There, certain strategies. These are suggestions. These are not rules. These suggestions are surefire. This will never fail you. Ladies and gentlemen, in this 5-minute presentation, I will tell you 3 most important things which you must concentrate. Give me all your concentration. I'm talking about 3 most important things about how to handle your challenges of life. Only 3 things. How many? 3 only. See how much emphasis I'm creating. So what happens? The audience get absolutely hooked up with you. They said, "Oh, no. Only 3 things? Fair enough. I can give my attention. Let me hear. Here is the first one." And then you mention the first one. All right? And you talk about it for a few seconds, and then you say, "I told 3 things. I've already covered 1. 2 more remains. Here is the second one." Chagas. You talk about the second. And now the final one. You got to dramatize. You were talking about something which is absolutely terrific. So you must create a structure. So before you go to the third, ladies and gentlemen, 3 points we are discussing today. 2 I have already shared. Can anybody repeat? What was the first one? Like I said just now. What are the first? What are the second? What are the third? To how many of you make sense? Making it structure and summarizing. Structure, points, and summarize. Very important. What is summarizing? When you complete the first, repeatedly mention, first is over, now get ready for the second. Their mind gets conditioned. When the second gets over, out of the 3, 2 got over. What are the first 2? Just for recapitulation. Chagas. Now you are ready for the third one. And here's the third one. Now you are summarizing. Okay? I'll just stop here. What sense does it make? What kind of impact does it create?
Lot of clarity, Oshit, and there's a lot of interaction which engages the audiences, and simultaneously a lot of clarity travels as well.
Absolutely. These are yeah.
Audience moves with you.
Correct. You are responsible. Use the word. You got to take the audience under your wings. Repeat this in your mind. I got to take the audience under my wings. You are flying and the audience is flying with you. Or like a gardener. a small child holding your finger and you will show them the beautiful flowers. You are a master of ceremony. They are all children. You are a father figure. You are showing them the way. So much you got to think about it, and then you will be a masterpiece. So let's proceed to the next point. You understood structure, point, and summarize. So sustain interest. ये story में है. It's a part of the story. There are two routes, if you remember. Remember your training with me when I trained you how to be an impromptu speaker? Opening, story, closing. And I told you there are two routes to take the story. In 5 minutes presentation, if you are very smart, you can use both the routes. One side of the continuum is emotion. On the other side, you have humor. If you're very smart, you can use both. But that will be very risky. The time is very short. By the time you create an emotion, वो emotion रहते रहते फिर humor छोड़ दोगे, फिर emotion कट जाए. So I suggest use one of the routes. Either you be very funny. I always tried this. Some presentation I go with a funny mood. Throughout the presentation, I will be funny. Next time, I change I wear another hat. I go with all emotions. I create a lot of emotion, lot of drama, lot of melodrama, so that the whole audience gets emotionally charged. Because these are sustain interest. One is attention getter, another is sustaining interest. You got the attention will fall and quickly get into another story, create an emotion or create a humor and sustain the interest. Make sense? Make sense? Respond. Make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And finally conclude. Don't be dry. Thank you very much. Then you went. It cannot be a sudden thank you. Now listen carefully. Surefire method. I have trained hundreds of people on this, and people have acknowledged it. Some people use it even today. Some people send messages. Boy, what you have told us in the how to introduce a speaker, I use it even now. Even global people, international people have acknowledged. I've used it personally. People remembered me. There was an IAS officer in Chandigarh. I introduced him. I was a master of ceremony in a social event of Suchitra. And I introduced this man. And this man became a permanent friend of mine. He kept on giving me business, calling me here and there, only for introducing him. Can you imagine? So, in your concluding message, don't be dry. First, prepare others. Note down. Prepare the audience for the conclusion. Why? Because suddenly you conclude, people will not clap. So you say, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, what does it mean? Hey guys, get ready. If you are intelligent, you are to clap when I finish. And if you don't, you are stupid. You are saying all this without saying it. Okay. You are saying all this without saying it. Before I conclude, my last message to you is, and then you said thank you. Obviously, if they don't clap, they think they will be fools. You are clever. You got to get those claps. And if you suddenly finish, the impact will be over. It's just like an incense stick. When the incense stick is extinguished, still the fragrance remains. So every speaker, when I took a training from Shiv Kera, and he created a competition, and I won the prize. He opens his wristwatch and gave it to me. I remember it. And he said, how do you create the last impact? And he told it in the evening, and next day program, it was a 3-day program. So next day, first thing was each one of us had to give a presentation with a life example, with a demonstration, just like in a talk on a topic, we bring a demo. We had to bring a demo and establish it. And whole night I thought, and I took an incense stick and I burned the incense sticks. I gave a speech, and then I say, the concluding impact should be like an incense stick. In one way, incense stick is better than flowers. Flowers breathe fragrance as long as it is alive. But incense stick still give fragrance when it is dead. So it is the principle, it is the dream, it is my life symbol that I would like to be an incense stick. As long as I'm there in the world, I will create fragrance. Even when I die, my fragrance remains. He got so emotional, this man. After all, I'm Oporoshes Chela. I cannot be second to anyone. So he opened his wristwatch and gave it. I had that wristwatch for a long time before it went out. So you understand what is a concluding message? You leave a genuine gratitude and a message. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to become a master of ceremony today. And this has given me great learning. And I want to leave a message to you. When an opportunity comes to you to become a master of ceremony, don't shy away. Take the leap. Believe me, if you run one meeting for 2 hours, I assure you, you will be running 2,000 meetings with success in your life. I'm sure you want to do that. Thank you very much. Got it? Feedback. How does it make sense?
Completely makes sense, really.
Okay. So,
True.
Going back to the final thing, I think we do not have many slides. So the slides don't seem to move. Is the second one? Okay. Time management. Second thing is time management. So it's very, very simple. Sudhir, please have a checklist and a piece of paper or a notebook in your hand. Suppose there are 10 events. Note down the timing when that event should end and check up your wristwatch. Are you saving time or are you losing time? Because you are just not an attention getter or sort of giving a tone of the morning or evening. You are the manager of the time. So whole checklist of the event according to the agenda and the schedule. Our event management cell will send the agenda and you will have a copy of the agenda, have a printout and create, suppose it will be mentioned 5 minutes. I do not know whether Ravina mentions the actual watch time or not. So if the watch time is not maintained, after 5 minutes, it becomes, let's say, 11:15. So you mention 11:15. So it will be very easy to check how are you in control of the event or it's going, how many minutes up and down you are. When you are going down on the time, you got to save time. When you have saved time, you relax and you can use another anecdote to entertain. So you are very clever. So agenda checklist with time schedule you should maintain. And the time restriction, be very, very pertinent. You are a leader, you are an authority. So be very sweet and say, before I announce the competition, all the speakers note it carefully. We have strict time schedule. You will get a warning bell after 2 minutes. And after 3 minutes, it gets stopped and you got to stop, don't carry on. And even a general speaker who comes, let's say, introduce, know your one voicer. So one guy will come and she has got 2 minutes and she gets so carried away, she's continuing. They said, intervene immediately. And they said, your time is over. Audience, you can ask her some questions. So there are two elements of that part. One, she will introduce herself and then audience will ask a few questions. So if she is going too much, then you got to intervene swiftly and strongly, you know, make sure that everything, because if she takes the time, whose time she is taking? Your time, man. And if she goes too much and your time gets bad, then you will be ill-reputed. You don't want that, don't you? So be very clever. Intervene when speaker gets carried away. Shock absorbers. You know what it is? You keep some 1 or 2 minutes spare in your hand. You discuss with the event manager, have you kept some shock absorber for me? Normally we keep about 5 minutes or 6 minutes or even 10 minutes shock absorber, so that under no situation the last time of the meeting is crossed. If the timing is from 11 to 1 p.m., we should conclude our meeting at 12:50. So 10 minutes you have shock absorbers in your hand. And don't spend out. It's just like the reserve of your motorbike. If you keep on driving your motorbike on reserve, just like these auto rickshaw pullers do, and they keep the audience waiting and enter it in the petrol pump and start filling up gases. They don't do like that. So have the shock absorber intact. It's only for emergency or exigencies you can use it. And must have your notebook handy. These are the few things in the time management. Any question?
Ashit,
Yeah.
just in case this we are going running exactly on time, and that shock absorber time is 10 minutes, then we
Yeah.
have to prepare ourselves with the filler as well, I believe.
No, the filler is a part of the whole thing. There is no time for the fillers.
Suppose
Suppose
we are running exactly on dot, and we are still that shock absorber time is left out in the
yeah,
last, say,
yeah,
5 minutes.
yeah.
So what do? We conclude before
Yeah, we
then
conclude
and then.
before. We conclude before. You don't have to consume it. If you have done a good job, finish it. It's not compulsory for you to contribute. Any other question?
Answers the question.
Okay. So why doesn't it move? Connector. Introduction and acknowledgement. Introducing the speaker, and after the speaker goes away, acknowledge the speaker and introduce the next speaker. So this is the part of the job of the MC. So you must have a thorough note of the profiles. Whoever is introducing, don't just start fumbling. So check their names. You must give a telephone call and find out their little details. Unless we will also, the job of the creative cell, that when you create the agenda, you should get all the profiles of the speaker and share it with the master of ceremony. So give them the service. Give the master of ceremony, so don't give it to him. After all, the master of ceremony's responsibility, and we are the back office, so we will service them with the profile in time so that master of ceremony can prepare the introduction and use the introduction style, how to introduce a speaker. You know that, what is that called? Forgetting. CAS, topic, audience, and speaker. Okay, that system. Dramatize and throw stylishly. Invite celebration as you announce the name and mention the name at the end. Don't mention now we are going to bring Sudhir Chopra as the master of ceremony. The whole thing is gone. I will tell all his background and then now, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to welcome the master of ceremony of this morning, who is none other than. Unmute yourself and get ready to celebrate. And I want to be deaf hearing your celebrations. It's none other than Sudhir Chopra, like that. Okay? Yeah. So create that celebration. And mention important contribution of the last speaker. So don't forget about, don't fear tension. You got to do a couple of things together. You got to concentrate on the next speaker, prepare and remind you of his introduction. At the same time, with one ear, you are also listening to the speaker who is going on. Take up 1 or 2 points from his speech, the central point, and acknowledge him. Acknowledge him with an anecdote or a metaphor. Acknowledge him sweetly, not formally. Just bolna padega. Thank you very much for your wonderful speech. It makes no sense. Why it is wonderful? You are a master of ceremony. You are not anybody. So master of ceremony of one voice, master of ceremony of UXL environment. So you have to say 1 or 2 central points and how relevant it. You have really created an impact. In my mind, I don't take audience minds. A lot of people say, you have created a lot of, how do you know? So as I was listening, I got very inspired. And thank you very much for this learning. That would be wonderful. Okay. Let's go to the next. This is the last slide. General. Always be smart and smiling, agile, All the time feel you are the leader, you are the boss. So the way you move, the way you smile, the way you dress, everything should be very, 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 very attractive. People should feel, what a guy, how he carries himself, how agile, how, how smart he is. Confidently throw your voice. You see how I'm speaking? I have that sense of authority in my voice. Because if I don't have that, you guys are not going to listen to me. Everybody wants to follow. They don't want to lead. They want to lead many people, but they want to follow the leader. So the leader will come and create an impact. So your voice should be, your throat should be powerful. Try to create a voice and throw in your speeches. That doesn't mean you shout and scream and create a lot of, people think here is a crazy man. No. But generally, you should throw your voice very well. You must have a stock of metaphor because that will help you to be a connector. Be involved and committed. Always make them feel that you are enjoying the job. You really love this work. And at this moment, you would not prefer to do any other thing than doing this work and completing it to the satisfaction of your audience. Feel committed to your audience. All the time say, I'm so grateful that you are giving me a patient listening. And I'm sure we are carrying this event so very well. And thank you for your cooperation. Say that all the time. And then keep everybody inspired. Okay, so that's the end of my training. I wanted it for 45 minutes, so it is 45 minutes. So any question and answer, and what do you feel about it?
I'm started feeling very energetic and excited. Now the road is clear, what to do and how to do.
So the
All the
people
best,
don't
Sudhir.
accept the offer, they run away. किसी को बोला मास्टर से क्या जरूरत है भागता है सब, उसको पता नहीं है मैं जन्नत देता हूँ उसे, क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी देता हूँ, अरे नहीं यार, it's just matter of और है क्या, primarily it's a tone of the evening and just carrying the whole event. 2 hours you are managing and leading, so your karma gets so charged up, isn't it? All other activities get meaningful. You see this MC training, it's not only an MC training, it's life training, isn't it? It's life training. That's the way we run our life.
True.
Yes.
Ashit, as you said that the MC, gives life to all the other events. And I'm sure the audience and all the other participants feel that they are also part of the show and they all feel participated. And I am sure the energy also travels from the MC to the entire, the congregation of people, the audiences and the participants.
Beautiful.
So that,
Everything else. Yeah. Right. Complete.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
It is one voice.
Yes.
What you said, it is one voice.
Yeah.
One voice.
Yeah.
We are not two. I said my introduction in the last presentation. I said, we are not the guest, we are not the host. How many of you are guests? How many of you are hosts? Everybody called for they are the guests. Then I said, we are both. We are the guests, we are the hosts, we are one.
Yes. Right.
So you are that messenger. You are that messenger. That spirit of oneness. So much of love you should give. And the central thing is love. You love your audience. You love your work. You love your fraternity. 3 loves. You love one voice. You love your role, master of ceremony. You love your audience. When these 3 love get churned up, manthan, then the Amrit comes, you see, and it becomes so beautiful.
Definitely.
So let us close the meeting, and I will send you the record. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, and the creative cell. Each one of you should be master of ceremony once, so that you can certainly internalize it, and you can train many people. We are a great movement. It will be a global movement in times to come. So we will have global master of ceremonies. Okay.
Sure.
All the best.
Ashit, thank you so much, Ashit. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you, Ashit.
Thanks a lot.